What's up, y'all? We are back at it again today. Happy New Year, everybody. I am Nima Ali, and I'm here with a safe space with my girls, Danielle. What's going on?
What's going on? Happy New Year's, everyone.
Kiki, you back from vacation? The jet set up.
Again. Happy new beginnings, everyone.
Beginnings, everyone. Well, today, you guys, we have a surprise for you guys, and we have a special guest. We have Miss Jeanette Nunley. She is a certified life coach with over 10 plus years of experience. She is a, educator. She has a master's in psychology, and she is popping and popping and popping. She got us out here learning, new ways to build relationships and all different types of things. So we wanted to share her with the world today. Thank you, Jeanette, for joining us here at a safe space.
Absolutely.
Welcome,
Thank you for
welcome,
having
welcome.
me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So, Jeanette, how did you get started in life coaching?
So, I am a talker. I'm also a listener. I started undergrad in psychology and decided very quickly that I wanted to know about relationships amongst people. So, I switched that over to sociology. So, I have my bachelor's degree and master's degree in sociology.
Oh, well, I stand corrected. You got a
Okay.
master's and a bachelor's in sociology. Well, thank you, Miss Nutt. Well, today, you guys, we are going to be talking about relationships. It's a new year, it's 2025. And, we all are out here building relationships. We're working, we in school, we take classes. We're doing all different types of diverse things in our life. And building relationships is key. They say your network is your net worth. So we're going to give Jeanette the floor and let her give us some different tools and some different things that she can, leave us with to be able to go out here in 2025, best version of ourselves. You guys ready? Let's go.
Wait.
So wonderful. Thank you again for having me. Today, my main focus would be on navigating forward purposefully, especially at the beginning of a new year, figuring out, hey, what am I going to do this year that either I didn't do last year or I wasn't successful in last year? There are some key points that you can take down if you like to, just to know, hey, this is what I need to be doing. We have resolutions and all of those things. A lot of times we fall short come February, March. It's like, okay, yeah, can't do it anymore. So just making sure that we're doing things and we're being purposeful about them this year. So I have 10 points that we can go over. So
Get your pants handy.
yes. The first one would be just clarifying your values, like making sure that you have 3 to 5 of your most important values, writing them down and asking yourself, like, hey, is what I'm doing currently, is it in alignment? Am I aligned with what my values truly are? And standing on it. We stand on business about everything else. We have to begin standing on business about our personal values, the things that are most important to us. So that would be the first one. Super duper quick, but it's the foundation for getting you started going forward. The second one would be setting meaningful goals. Do not set a goal that you know is something that is going to be extremely hard for you to obtain. And the reason for that is if you make something that's so far fetched, you're going to get discouraged along the way because you're going to feel like I can't get there. So set attainable, meaningful goals. Okay, this means something to me and it'll mean more to me if I'm able to obtain it within this certain time frame. You got to use SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time make sure they're SMART goals. S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, and the T is for time bound. The third thing would be create a vision. What do you want for your life? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? What legacy do you want to leave behind? Create that vision for your life. And if it comes from a vision board, if it's just your journaling, make sure that you write those things down. 4, stay present and mindful. That means meditate if you have to, do yoga, journal, do some breathing exercises. Make sure you're staying in the here and now. A lot of times when we're setting goals, we get anxiety. We get super duper anxious, like, oh, I really want to achieve this. And oh my gosh, this isn't happening for me. Stop, breathe. It's important that we are in the moment and staying present. So, fifth thing Embrace your growth and adaptability. Embrace the fact that some things are going to change along the line. We talk about being aligned. However, we also have to understand that sometimes we have to pivot. Sometimes there's going to be a caveat to what we're doing. Embrace those things and embrace the changes that are going to be happening within you and around you once you make sure you're living a purposeful life. Big one. That was a big one. Six is take action consistently. Do not set a goal and do not think you're getting ready to live purposefully if you can't take action and be consistent. As women, we talk about it all the time. We're looking for consistency. We got to be consistent with ourselves as well. The seventh thing is maintaining accountability. Hold yourself accountable and allow others to hold you accountable too. If your goal this year and living purposely for you means, hey, I want to lose weight, let somebody hold you accountable and tell you do not need that next plate. Okay. Well, you done ate that food. I'm gonna need you to put that plate down. Okay.
Right.
Number 8 is embrace gratitude. Be grateful that you even have an opportunity to make a list, to journal, to have a purpose. Be grateful for those things. A lot of people aren't afforded the opportunities to be in a position where we are. And a lot of people didn't make it to 2025.
Exactly.
Number 9, being open-minded. Create a space for you to open your mind to possibilities beyond your control. Living purposefully means that, hey, I'm open for what's getting ready to happen. I'm open to these blessings. I'm open to this safe space. I'm open to this level of comfort. I'm open to this new financial opportunity. I'm open to all of these things because you have to be open in order to receive them. And number 10, you have to have balance and well-being. Understand that if your goal is to travel more, understand there has to be a healthy balance there. You can't travel if you ain't making the money to travel. Okay.
Exactly.
Let's balance this out a little bit, baby. I'm gonna need you to go to work too. Okay. I'm gonna need you to go get your coins, run that bag all the way up and plan that stuff out. So it's not a last minute trip. You paying the highest for a flight. You got all of this other stuff going on. Make sure that there's a healthy balance to all of those things so that you're not overwhelmed. So many times, there's enough life for us to be overwhelmed. There's enough. Don't own it. Don't take ownership of being overwhelmed. No, I got this. I got it. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm navigating a purposeful 365 days going forward.
Well, I definitely like you speaking about having an open mind. I feel like too often as human beings, we allow our ideas to become our ideology or our opinions to become our ideology. We take it as being truth or being fact because we feel a certain way. And as I'm navigating through life, I'm learning like, no, that's not just because I feel a certain way doesn't make it true. And I'm also learning that my truth differs from somebody else's truth, even though we can be in the same situation or the same, scenario or whatever. Or so I think building relationships requires, I speak of it all the time, like a lot of emotional intelligence and also a lot of self-reflection. I feel like
Absolutely.
a lot of times, and I'm definitely in agreement with you about accountability. Faith without work is dead. It's just, and about speaking positive, I feel like your thoughts become your life. Like
Absolutely.
what you speak is what your life will mirror. So I'm learning now to not speak from a place of lacking. And if I am lacking, this is just a temporary. I'm building up to what I need to, where I need to get to or where I need to go, but I'm not without. And in that, I'm learning to have gratitude for everything that I have while I'm still planning and setting goals to attain more. So I think all of those key points that you said, I feel like they're very, very like important to set set us on a good trajectory for 2025.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Quickly, are you able to repeat 1 through 4 again? I'm sorry. I got my pen and
Absolutely.
paper late.
No problem. So number 1 was clarifying your values. And an example of that is writing down 3 to 5 of your most important values and asking yourself if how your current life is in alignment with them. And if it's not, also writing down how you need to make those adjustments. Number 2 was setting meaningful goals. So we use the acronym SMART. specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Number 3 was create a vision. Who do you want to be? What legacy do you want to leave behind? What kind of impact do you want on others around you and people that have to come in contact with you? Number 4 was stay present and mindful, which may be meditating, doing yoga, journaling, exercising, breathing exercises, whatever works for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for repeating that. I'm in agreement with Danielle and you as well, but I've noticed the ending of last year leading up to now, the present, I'm embracing gratitude more. So I'm journaling every day. First thing when well, not every day when the first thing I wake up. That's what I'm supposed to be doing, but I make sure I do it. And if I forget that day, I go back and make sure I'm writing it down. But I'm journaling what I'm grateful for, and it's really, really been helping. I am being more open minded. I always thought that I was an open minded person, but when I look back on some things and some conversations I may have had with some people, made me see that, girl, no, you're not.
Right.
So I'm working on that balance and well being. I had to learn that because I was extremely overwhelmed and exhausted and on the break of like burnout or crash out. And
Mm-hmm.
my body made me aware of those things and it kind of shut down on me. So I'm being more mindful of the balance and the well being. I need to be more accountable for my health this year because I'm always, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I'm always jumping on fads and quick fixes and stuff. But if I'm not being consistent and holding myself accountable, I'm wasting my money with
Absolutely.
Yeah.
all of that stuff. So I'm learning also, I love what Danielle said about something to the fact that people, what's important to me is not always important to people, or something like that, Danielle. You didn't
Yeah.
use those, specific words, but I'm learning that because it was something that happened that I went through that was so traumatic at the end of last year. And my go-to person, he as well experienced something traumatic, but it was like a day apart. And because to me, I would never fathom going through those things, I shut down on him because I made him feel like he abandoned me
Mm.
because that's what I felt. And the ladies know because I speak about this all the time. I have abandonment issues that
Mm-hmm.
stem from childhood, and I'm still working on those things. But it was very selfish of me,
Mm-hmm.
because although what I went through was traumatic and it's going to be a long journey to,
Well, don't
that
own that.
healing process.
Don't own that it's going to be a long journey.
Well, you're right.
Don't own
Thank you.
that.
Thank you for correcting me. It's a journey.
It's a
It's
journey.
a journey, but he is on a journey as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt it was very selfish in me. However, I am still human. Okay, I recognize those things. I understand those things, but I still feel abandoned. And I'm working trying to get past that because it created a disconnect in our relationship and like our communication because I'm still trying to navigate and like move through, that area. So any tips on that?
So something that you said, that this is what I heard. I heard you say you were dealing with things and he is also dealing with things. Is that correct?
Correct.
So for what the two of you have individual things, you have some past trauma. Past trauma is always going to show its face when you are dealing with new people, when you are dealing with new situations. You could be triggered by anything. Those things are going to come up. It's who makes you who you are right now. If those things hadn't taken place in life, you wouldn't be who you are. And let's look at the positive in that. No matter what it was for you and how negative it was then, you can't allow it to still be negative now. Now is the time, take that, move forward in the positive space. It happened. And no matter what has taken place, you always have to look at it like this. Okay, if I allowed it to make me feel what it made me feel then, why in the world am I still allowing it to do it now? Why am I
Yeah.
still allowing something to still own me from last year? the year before that, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Why? Is that what you deserve?
And the fact that
No,
you're
ma'am.
able to acknowledge
Is a
that's a
huge point.
that's a step.
Yeah, and I also want to say what you may have felt you needed from him in that abandonment, it wasn't the abandonment maybe of him. It was more so the accountability of what you needed within yourself. Because if he was already going through something, his cup was half full already. Now you're going through something. And how much more can he, you know what I mean? Saying, you understand? Even with what you were going through, how much more can you? When you're on a journey and when you both have traumas, that's where the communication is the biggest part of the relationship as far as what you need. But what you may have thought you needed from him, you really may have needed more of from yourself
And
because
another
he
thing you
couldn't
have to
give you but so much.
another thing you have to think about is oftentimes we get into the space of our expectations in our relationships, especially our intimate relationships with our partners. The expectations can be there, but are we giving time for those things to be met? You needed him and you needed him in this moment to do whatever it is that you needed him to do. That's not fair to him. And it's something we all learn being in partnerships, because he also needed you, but did he feel some type of way because you couldn't give what he needed from you right then and there? We have to think about those things, and we're all guilty of it in one form or fashion. The thing about it is, when you sit back and you're evaluating, look at the 10 steps. You got to clarify your values. I mean, these are just things you have to do. Like, okay, I'm holding myself accountable. It's one thing to hold yourself accountable. What are you going to do with that next? What do you do with it next? Okay, you know what? He deserves an apology. I expected this from him. Did you articulate your expectations to him? And were they clear for him? Did he understand them? Because we can talk all day. Do they really get what we're saying? We might get okay, yeah. You understand what I was saying. And if you didn't, can you ask me a question? And that allows for effective communication. Communication is big. We're communicating with one another right now. It's not effective unless you're actually listening and you're actually going to use it purposefully. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, he needed me. In my opinion, he wasn't there for me, but from his perspective, he may have very well been there in the way that he could have been there for you
In his
Yeah.
emotionally.
capacity at that time.
And
Yeah.
that's what I was just getting ready to say. I've learned to look at people not so much. I mean, we to have expectations is human, but to look at their capacity. Like maybe this is the best that in this situation within this time frame, they gave me the best version of themselves, or what they could
Absolutely.
do or how they could be there for me. And I feel like you have to be appreciative of that, because everybody got their own struggles. We're dealing with our own battles like on a daily basis. And a lot of times, especially for men, we are women. So we're used to venting and talking and just letting people know what kind of space we're in or what's going on. Men, their ego a lot of times don't allow them to vent or to let go of certain things because they feel like they have this bravado where I'm the man and I got to carry the world on my shoulder and slap this H on my chest and just handle it. Whereas
Mhm.
with us, we're different. We could, girl, let me tell you how my day was, or let me tell you this.
Okay.
Most men are not like that. But Jeanette, I want you to go into what is the difference between, because you spoke on it earlier off camera, between a life coach and a therapist. Because a lot of times people get those two things kind of confused or lump them up into one category. So can you let our viewers know, like, what is the difference and what are some scenarios where someone may reach out to utilize a life coach?
Okay, so the difference between the two is therapy is here going backwards. Life coaching is here going forward.
Forward.
Nice.
Absolutely. So, a scenario, if someone were to come to me, I'm here to help you. What are you trying to do? We are definitely going to touch on some things that have already taken place, but it's not going to be the same as sitting on laying on a couch, sitting in a chair, and you're just sharing. No, it's interactive. Depending on what you need from me, honey, you might be outside doing laps. I mean, it depends on what your specific goal is, because life coaching is not just about relationships. Now, that is my niche. I love working with people in relationships. However, if there's a weight loss goal, then we can work on that too. So therapy, if someone comes to me and I can pretty much tell whether, okay, you need therapy, but you also need a life coach. There are
Right.
instances where you need both. I highly recommend that if you're dealing, and we all are dealing with things, so I highly recommend you get a life coach. But there are instances where you may simultaneously need the both. So psychology, therapy deals a lot with mental. Where we deal with mental, our goal is to help you get from the point you are now
Going forward.
into your future. What are we doing? We are future focused. I need you to go see that therapist because I need you to deal with the fact that your mother wasn't there, or you watched your father beat your mother, or your father abandoned you, or you had issues with siblings, you were molested, you were raped. I need you to deal with that. Those are
Right.
definitely topics that are going to come into place when we do an intake or orientation, and we're getting to know one another. However, like I said before, you're gonna deal with that past trauma in therapy. You're gonna bring that hurt and you're gonna turn that hurt into something positive, and we're gonna move forward with that. How can you now be of assistance to yourself?
Right.
How can you now make sure that you are good? You are in a good space, and I think that it's really good when you have a relationship with. I have relationships with therapists, licensed therapists. I can definitely recommend them out. And it goes vice versa, because a lot of times people go to therapy and it's something that they're dealing with right now. Oh my gosh, he is getting on my nerves now, or my kids are doing this. Okay, maybe not for therapy, but you definitely need to see a life coach. So that would be the difference between the two, just the past and the future analogy. And they are similar. We're gonna talk, we're gonna get some things out, but it's moving in a different direction.
One thing I want you to talk more on is embracing growth and adapting, because I feel that I meet a lot of people that like to stay stuck versus
Mm,
understanding how to move forward, or things change on their job. They be so like raw, or if things come up and they have to move, they just be, I mean, just the end of the world. I mean, or I have just seen, and I'm talking about the attitudes just be, I don't even be understanding the, and I guess because for me, I'm such an overcomer. I think I'm always growing because I'm always overcoming something, because I have that type of lifestyle, and I know that life are about the tests and the storms. I'm at the point now, a lot of times I get excited.
right.
But with some people, I'd be like, I don't even be not advise them because they go in. And I mean, can you give our audience, just some guidance on growth and adapting to change, and understanding that growth is positive when things are actually changing and the season is up. Because
Absolutely.
everything is a reason, season, or a lifetime.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So I think Ms. Wise said earlier, when she was given her description of the things that she was experiencing, she made the comment, I'm human. I think that once everyone realizes that we are all human, it makes things a lot easier. So when I talk about embracing growth, you have to learn from every single setback. You have to figure out, what was the lesson? What did I learn from this? What am I going to take from this? Because if all you're taking is the negative part of it, then you're not going to be successful in anything. There is no growth. You know what? Me and my man got into an argument. I'm going to only take the negative part. Oh, he raised his voice at me. Oh, he walked away. Oh, he was ignoring me. I'm only taking that part. I'm not going to take the part where he was like, baby, I hear you. Baby, I get it. Baby, I'm sorry. I'm taking it because, oh, he made me mad. So a lot of times people have to get over it. You have to get over it. Understand that you're human. Understand that things are going to happen. They're going to happen all the time, every single day. Every day that we are afforded 24 hours, something is going to happen. We decide. We decide whether it's going to be good or bad, the impact that it's going to have on us, right? So
Right.
something happens on your job. Okay. What are you going to do? Are you going to stop going to work? Or are you going to go to work with a different mindset? It is what it is. And I think a couple of years ago, that became so famous. It is what it is, but with a negative connotation. It carries a negative connotation as if I don't care. No. Allow it to carry a positive connotation where it is what it is, and I'm going to keep going. What am I learning from this? Okay. This happened. These people on my job are talking about me. Absolutely. Baby, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you something to talk about. And it's going to be something so good that you're going to agitate them instead of agitating you. You're not getting to me because you want to talk about me. You don't even know me. But baby, let me tell you, because when you talk that next conversation, you're going to be talking about how I done leveled up at this same job that we both at. Okay? That's what you're going to be doing. How can you spin this and turn it into something positive? Oh my gosh, rent went up. Baby, it's the economy we live in. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
You
Are you
have
gonna
to
pay
live.
rent or are you getting out?
Exactly.
We have to begin looking at things from a space of, and men do this all the time, logic. Men are good at looking at things logically.
Very much
You
so.
know what I'm saying? So you just said, Danielle just stated a little while ago that women do this. Let's think about other people do things and think differently than us. Why are we limiting our way of thinking because it's who we are? Well, it's what we're used to. That mindset, that growth mindset, open your mind. Be open-minded to the fact that I'm going to experience a setback one way or another, whether it's health, wealth, relationships, work, no matter what it is, something is going to happen. It's life. You're human.
Exactly.
What do
And
I
sometimes you have to take 2 steps back just to take 4 steps forward sometimes.
Yes.
What do I
If
do
we
with
stay
it?
the same, then we never build strength. We never grow. I mean, we gotta grow through it in order to go through it.
Right.
Absolutely.
And not only that, we're not putting ourselves in a space because even at this age, there's times I have to rethink what I think I know.
Listen, you got to unlearn those bad behaviors.
Yeah, or get a better understanding of what it is I think that I know or what I'm standing strong on. Sometimes I have to look at, the what's going on around me and be like, okay, no, maybe my perception of, yeah,
Absolutely.
I think it's very
It can
Yeah,
definitely be wrong. And I
yeah,
like to look at things from, it may not be right and it may not be wrong either. It's yours.
right.
yeah,
It's yours. It doesn't have to be right or wrong. It may be
yeah.
different.
I think the problem comes in when it clouds your judgment
Mm-hmm.
or or stifles your navigation through certain things because everybody is always going to have their own ideas or their
Absolutely.
own viewpoints or the way they think, but I feel like when you're rigid and what you think or how you think, then I feel like you stagnate yourself because we live in a world that's ever changing.
Absolutely.
Technology is not what it was 10 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? Society is not what it was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So where you definitely have to kind of evolve in your mindset, I feel like, and evolve in the way you internalize things in order
Absolutely.
to, be prosperous and, I feel like just stay afloat sometimes.
And it's healthy. It's healthy for you to do that. Because a lot of times what we think, we feel it and then it begins to go throughout our body. Like, okay, we've all been through a breakup. How many times you go through that breakup, that first day, that first 24 hours, you sick. You're physically sick. It's here. It starts here and it literally just goes throughout the body. So it's the same, like you just said, when you change your mindset, you change a lot of things because we be sick for about a week, but as us women, that day 8, we bounce back. Okay, my mind changed, I'm head
Yeah,
tired. Oh, you know what, baby? I'm about to go back to school.
Right.
I'm about to get this promotion. We go hard. We got to begin to think of the level of going hard every single day.
yeah. Because speaking of breakups, I'm single again, y'all, and I'm sorry. I wouldn't. The first day, I ain't feel nothing. I was like, oh, okay, bye.
You got to keep going. What are you going to do with what just happened? Are you going to sit around and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad? Or are you going to be like, you know what? It is what it is, but not in the negative space. It is what it is because I know
Right.
what I have to do. Something that
Yeah, I gotta feel like I can get to that next. I can get. It's now. I feel like when it don't work out, I feel like okay, good. I learned. I figured it out early. I didn't take a whole bunch of time. Now I'm making way for that next person, like to possibly be trying to meet the real person that I'm supposed to meet. Because I'm gonna stand to my ground on my values and just what I believe in, what works how you treat me and how you talk to me and you know what I mean? I have these things. So it's like when it doesn't line up, I can't let a red flag slip by. Not today.
hey,
Like
it's not the
not
circus
this
around here,
big.
okay?
No. Mm-mm.
So I think another thing, and I learned this years ago, I got into the mindset of I know how to do it wrong. I want to do it right.
Right, right,
But I leave space for error because that human part is going to
right.
show up every single day.
Exactly.
I'm going to get an attitude. Absolutely. It's going to come. I'm going to feel some type of way. Absolutely. Why not? I'm going to say something you don't like. I absolutely am. All of those things are still going to happen. But the mature me, and I mean the mentally mature me, is going to be able to come back and be like you said, you got to sit back and think, I probably shouldn't have said it like that. No way that anyone, and I'm not just talking about in intimate relationships with your homegirls, with your homeboys,
Mm,
your colleagues, probably shouldn't have said it that way. Oh my God.
right.
You know what? I got to be more conscious of my tone. I have to be a little bit more tactful in my delivery. So those are things that it doesn't mean you have to be fake. Because that's one thing I just don't be fake. Always authentically and genuinely be yourself, but be mindful of the fact that you can deliver things and it still be 100% you, but you want it to be received the way that you intended it to be received. Because when we driving through traffic and we be spazzing out on them people when they going too slow or they going too fast, but you want them to receive that. I want you to know I'm mad when I look at
Mm,
you like, okay, but you also
exactly.
to allow them to receive positive things as well. I want you to know that this look on my face is, oh my gosh, I'm super proud of you. Or I'm super excited to be here. Wow, I can't believe you were able to do that. And even if I couldn't, do you have any advice? Because man, that's what I'm trying to do. We have to step out of the space of feeling like people owe us anything because we don't. They don't owe us anything. We also have to step out of the space of imposing our ideology onto other people.
People.
I feel like this. I bet you think this. No, 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 no. Don't tell me what I think. Allow me to tell you what I'm thinking. It's okay if that's how you feel, but you can't put that on me. Like, let's not put that on each other. You know what I'm saying? And so often we do. I mean, we do it all the time. Like, well, I know she over there thinking I'm crazy. Why? Why do you think that she think? How do you know what she thinking?
Right.
How did we get here? You know, as a society, we do that a lot, and then we form our own opinions and our feelings towards another person based on what we think that they are thinking. Does that not sound a bit strange?
I'm working on learning how to effectively communicate because my mouth goes so much faster than my mind. So before I'm able to process stuff, it's already out of my mouth. Or my face is gonna express it all. And I'm really working on that because my whole life I'm like, man, whatever, I'm straight, no chaser. I'm gonna give it to you straight. I'm real and raw. I
Yeah,
can be all those things, but I need to learn how to do it tactfully too, because a lot of my friends like, girl, like you reckless with your mouth. And I don't mean to be. I promise, like it's no ill intent, but it's just moving so fast. And then the more mature me, I'm like, dang, I ain't really had to say that. Or I ain't
right.
had to say it like that. You know what I mean? So I'm learning to communicate where I can convey it, where the person that I would like to receive the information, they're able to receive it because now they're not offended.
Absolutely.
So
And
that's a
it's not
challenge. It's
how we
been a
give it,
challenge.
it's how it's received. That's an important thing. Like you can have the greatest intent in the world, but it's how someone receives that. You know what I'm saying? Like oftentimes when as a parent, you give one of your kids a gift and you're excited about it. Oh my gosh, he or she's gonna love this. And they be like, oh, thanks. And
Oh,
they
I didn't ask for that.
excited about giving you this. It's all about how it's received. And a lot of times when we open our mouths and we speak, we're speaking from our feelings. We're speaking from where
And
we
our
are
trauma.
in that moment,
And our traumas.
from our trauma. We're speaking from our experiences. And the issue with that is a lot of times we want people to feel what we feel. And that's
Mm.
wrong on every accord. Because how in the world can I say I care for you? I care about you, or I want you to understand me. If I want you to hurt first, that's not okay.
Mm-mm.
I can't want you to hurt. I can't care for you and feel for you the way that I say I do as a sibling, as a homegirl, as a friend, as whatever. I want you to hurt first. Yeah, that's a little strange. You know what I'm saying? I have to get to a place of peace. And I want to remind you of number 4, staying present and mindful. In those moments where your mind is going a mile a minute and your mouth wants to keep up with that, I'm gonna need you to stop. I'm gonna need you to stop. And at that moment, you need to practice your breathing because that
Yeah.
slows down your mouth. Number one, it stops your mouth and it slows down your mind.
Yes, that's that count for 5 seconds before you actually
It's
jump out
difficult.
there.
It's difficult because I'm one of those. I'm gonna keep it 100. It is what I'm one of those. But you have to get to a point of why. Now I'm gonna say it because you've had that moment. Because a lot of time we reflect after the fact. Why not reflect in the moment?
Right.
So for me, what I see happening now with me, I'll shut down. And I don't want to be that person. I've always been vocal my entire life, but so to avoid conflict or I guess avoidance, period.
I
Like I
love
shut
this.
down.
I
I'll
love
just be
that.
quiet. I'm like, yeah.
I love this because you're no different than anyone else. So you're
Like
saying I do this. Well, tell self I'm not going to do this. You have to tell yourself that you're not going to do that. And it's hard. It's extremely hard to change abruptly, but that's something that needs to change abruptly. Do you want to shut down? What happens when you shut down and whomever you're shutting down to, how does that make them feel?
And nothing is being resolved.
Never.
but
It's
can't
not.
you be quiet in the moment? Like just be quiet until you're ready to like talk. You don't have to shut down completely, but you can take that step where you're
It.
quiet, where you're collecting it. You're really because I know I have to process things. I've had people I wear I'm supposed to wear 2 hearing aids. I used to have girlfriends that used to be like, did you hear me? Like, I done said da 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 da. But I didn't know that I used to be processing something before. So, I mean, I feel like it's okay to just, you don't have to so much you shut down. Instead of saying I'm shutting down or going forward, like just try, I get quiet sometimes. And then when you're ready to deliver your conversation because now you've had time to process it the way you need to, where it's not going to be like blah, 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 blah. And then people will be
Those
able to,
emotions
you know,
are those.
open in there, feel like people love you. They're going to allow you to have a moment, you know what I mean? Especially depending on what the situation.
So another thing too, and I know we're not gonna spend all night on this because I'm about to hire her in a minute. She gonna be like, "Look, girl, I'm about to send you an invoice, okay?" But it's avoidance for me now because people, especially people that I really loved and care about, they look at me through distorted lenses. You know what I mean? Like who I used to be or how I once was, or they always gonna make me feel like, oh, you're combative or you're whatever. So when I shut down, I don't sometimes even revisit it because in my mind, I'm not going back and forth with no one. And if that's how you perceive me, knowing that I've grown, I've seen the growth, and then other people have seen it also, but they're just determined to always view me as that person. I feel like is pointless at this point. But again, there's still no resolve. You know what I mean? I have to figure that whole piece out.
So I heard a lot of things in that. What I heard was you impose what you think on other people because you
People.
don't know that they've seen your growth. You don't know how they feel about your growth. There are a lot of people in our lives that want us to stay who we were and where we were. So if they're still looking at you from that lens, that's on them. It's not on you. So you have to get to the mindset and consciously tell yourself, I don't care what other people think because you shouldn't. It's none of your business. It's none of your business what they think. Even if it's about you, it's none of your business. Does their
Even
thoughts,
if it's your children,
let me tell you, because now you about to get the raw, the sit back, let me tell you. Listen,
give it to me. Give it to me.
what anyone else thinks about you is none of your business. Why are you making it your business? They feel what they feel and they're entitled to feel what they feel. What Danielle said earlier, we were talking, your feelings are not facts. Their feelings are not facts. It's what they feel.
Right. It doesn't make it true. And I've learned that just from my own dealings. I can feel how I feel, but the fact that the data and the facts is saying one thing is not swaying with how I feel. My feelings and my opinions are just that, they're mine. It doesn't make it a
Absolutely.
truth. It doesn't make it a fact. It doesn't make it etched in stone. And that's for me to deal with, because a lot of times our feelings and how we feel and how we perceive things are rooted. It starts with us. So even when we spoke before, and when we spoke about, when I was like, I didn't realize like certain things were a trigger for me. But I'm realizing that now, even at work, even with the leadership role that I have, even when we speak about capacity, I'm learning, just because I'm able to multitask and I'm able to do this and I'm able to do that and I can do 50 million things at one time, it is not fair for me to place that on another person and say,
Absolutely.
because I can navigate within these confines that you're supposed to be able to navigate the same way. I had to totally take what I can do away from that and look at that person and listen to them as far as what their strengths and what they feel their weaknesses is. Okay, well, I can't, you could do that, but I can't do that. That don't work for me or whatever. But I'm able to do X, Y, and Z. Like, so I had to like remove a lot of feelings. And sometimes the sister girl be wanting to come out.
Okay.
Sometimes, I have to also realize, like, I have to move with, because I'm human, and I would want somebody to move with grace and humility
Absolutely.
when it comes to dealing with me. Like, I have to understand that. And like she said, like, capacity. Like, you can see a person every day and just assume whatever about them, but you don't know what that person's capacity is, and it doesn't come with a look. You don't know what their mental capacity is. You don't know what their emotional capacity is. These are things you just don't know a lot of times, and I think a lot of times we walk into things with a perception, or, well, if I'm able to do that, then you should be able to do it. Like, why you can't do it? Like, I'm able to do this, and that's not you. That's and form healthy relationships with people.
Absolutely.
I like I had to. I can't put this Danielle. This how Danielle handle things. This how Danielle able to do it. But just because Danielle able to do it, don't mean that Stephanie is able to do it this way. This worked better for Stephanie, or Stephanie might be able to move within those confines, and it might be some things that she able to do that Danielle can't do, and it has to be okay.
And when
Like,
we
I
talk
think it
about,
comes a point where we have to just be okay with it.
you said, even when it's your children, don't, no matter how old they are, don't for a moment think that children don't experience their own trauma, or that they haven't experienced their own trauma. So when we go back to a moment ago when we spoke about, a lot of times people react from their own traumas, their own experiences. Grace is a really big word, and it has to be extended in all situations. Everyone deserves to be granted grace. And sometimes you got to grant patience and empathy. So if you have articulated, hey, I get that y'all know a version of me that I am not pleased with, because obviously, if you're willing to make a change, that means there was something that was going on before that you weren't pleased with within yourself. Hey, you guys know a version of me I no longer want to exist. I don't want that version of me to show up anymore. I'm working on that. It's going to take some time. I would appreciate these things from you. You're not putting it on them. It's not their job to help you change. It's not your job to help them see you change, but you're articulating where you are and where you plan to go. Now, everyone's not going to be on board, whether it's your mate, whether it's your children, whether it's a sibling. Everyone's not going to be on board. And you have to be okay with that. You have to hold yourself accountable enough, trust in yourself, make sure you have a growth mindset in order to say, if no one comes with me, baby, I'm still going. I'm still going, because I don't want to be that person anymore. We all have hangups. We all have a past. We're still here. So we've lived a life. You know what I'm saying? People have left this world way before they've made it to the ages we are at. So we've lived a life, right? You think it's not stuff that we want to go back, and if I could go back, I would change this up. But I encourage you not to have one regret. Don't regret anything. Take everything as a moment to learn something. What was the lesson in that experience? How do I get from this made me feel this way to I'm good, and really be good? Because we say that. But you have to get to a point of, okay, if no one else is going with me, I still am trying to go here. I'm still trying to be better. I'm still trying to change up my attitude. I'm still trying to not be in the space of where I was when I'm triggered, because a trigger takes you back to that moment. If something happened to you when you was 5 years old and somebody triggers you now, baby, it takes your mind back to that 5-year-old and you begin to respond like a 5-year-old. It may not be the same verbiage, but your body begins to react in that same space. So I was hurt. I was angry. I felt violated. I felt whatever you felt then. That's why you're triggered now, because it made you feel all of that stuff over again. So when are you going to forgive yourself? Wasn't your fault. A lot of the things that we did when before 21 wasn't our fault. We were reactive, right?
And not even after, and even after
I was about to say a lot of stuff we still do. We're
that
reactive,
age,
right?
yeah, like even you know, and I don't know how people present themselves to their children, but even with me, with my children, I'm from the rip. I'm flawed. I'm not
Absolutely.
perfect. Although I'm your mother, I love you and I jump out the window and do anything for you. I'm still flawed. I'm still a human
Absolutely.
being. And like I said, there's conversations even that I had to have, like with my kids, where I had to come back and apologize. Like, you
Absolutely.
know what?
I love that.
I apologize because I realize now at this age that I am, there were years that I didn't have a lot of patience for y'all the way I should have had. But it was because I was in survival mode. Because
Right.
Survival
I'm
mode.
moving. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to make it happen for us. And there's times I might have yelled at y'all or disciplined y'all in a certain way. And now I can hindsight is, 2020. Now I can look back and say, you know what? That the mother that I am now is not the mother that I am then. And I didn't know better at that time, but now that I know better, I know that I need to do better. So let me come to you and let me apologize to you, because what we're not going to do, we're not going to carry this forward when you start having your kids and you start building your family and you start doing whatever. I don't need you to be in survival mode because I already took that path. So that's not going to be a path for you. And let them know, like, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I make mistakes. And I'm able to sit here and admit that I make mistakes. And I had to come to an understanding too when we speak about truth, that my truth and my kids' truth ain't the same truth. But I
Listen,
Yeah.
still had to sit there and I had to listen to it.
absolutely.
I had to respect it because that was their truth. And
Yeah.
who am I? I can't do something and tell you how to respond to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't get to do that. I don't
Yeah.
get to do that to you. I don't get to tell you how to respond to something that you may have felt offended you or that I could have handled better as your mother or whatever. I don't get to do that. The only thing that I can listen to and tell you is that I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
how do we move on and how do we grow from here?
Yes. That part.
And
And
a lot of
understand
times, go ahead.
your kids, and it's vital.
And if you are saying that, okay, I'm trying to do this and my children have this idea of me, have you apologized to them? A lot of times, and I know that I'm guilty of this, especially when I was a younger parent, right? It was almost like a badge of honor to be like, no, my kids know how I am. My kids know.
Right.
We do that. And it's kind of like a badge of honor. What were we teaching them?
Right.
What were we teaching them
Learn.
in those moments? Like, oh, mama gonna ride out for you. I'm gonna do all of this. Yes, I'm gonna do those things, but this over 40 mama is like, probably shouldn't say those things. We have to be a little bit more careful in the way that we present ourselves to our children, because let me tell you what's gonna always happen. Your children always find out who you are. Because
Mm-hmm.
when they're kids, oh my gosh, I love my mom. I love my mom.
Right.
And as they grow up and as the parent of adult children, your children find out who you are.
Yeah.
They find out who you are.
That's
And
definitely
because now they're adults and they're seeing life in a different way and their experiences are different and some of them may be similar, and they're going back on the advice that you gave them when you were still trying to figure life out, whereas that same advice wouldn't come out of your mouth right now.
exactly
So it's kind of like at some point, just like you figured your parents out, your children are going to figure you out. They're going to figure it out. Okay, she parents like this, but in the world, this is how she is. Oh, when she talking to a homegirl, this is how she is. But when she talk to daddy or when she talk to her man, this is how she is. But she telling me not to do these things. Baby, where's that healthy balance? We got to have that healthy balance, because
Yeah.
no way in the world I can tell my daughter, don't talk to, you're not supposed to talk to men like that and put yourself in a situation for them to want to hit you. Because, we teach our girls, men aren't supposed to hit. But that same little girl see you talking crazy to her daddy.
right.
What are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? So I think that if there's going to be a bit of advice, sitting down and having a very open conversation with your children, something that I've taken pride in is I've been open with my children from day one. I'm like, Danielle, it's like, look, they've always received the raw, uncut version of me only because I didn't want there to be surprises later on in life. And with 2 adult children now, it's kind of like, yeah, they know what it is. No, mama is exactly who she says she is. Mama is exactly who she presents herself as. There's no switch up. There's no change up. And the reason I can appreciate that in them is because when they're kids, they love their mama. This is my mom. I gotta accept her. But as adults, hey, I accept her. I don't mind being around her. I can talk to her because she's always been this person. She's been consistent. When we talk about consistency, she's been consistent. And we take for granted that we have these little lives at some point that we're responsible for. We take it for granted because they're our kids. Oh, these are my kids. They're going to do all of this. But we're not thinking about their mindset as they grow and mature on their own and how our behaviors, words, and actions make
Affect.
them. And then when we get to a point where we want to change who we are, they still know that version. Can we hold?
And they still, and that's what they're still holding on to.
And they're going.
And for me, I had to parent my kids totally different from one another because they're two different people and their needs were different. So those some things as being a mother was just universal, it's some things that wasn't. So my oldest son would be like, "Oh, you let him just do whatever, or you just let him he did whatever." No, it's not. This child got a different spirit than what you got.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta handle him with the soft glove. He can't take what I give you, or how I talk to you, or how I'm able to just get you in line, and he's able. That baby right here can't take that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I know I gotta, in order to get him to move along and do, I gotta do it slowly. I gotta use soft hands, with him. So, a lot of things like kids don't understand, but as they become adults more and they start to become parents themselves and start to have relationships and interact and do a lot of things, it's a lot of things they see. Because even my son now will tell me, like, "Ma, I didn't understand when you were saying whatever, whatever, but now I get it. Like, now I understand. Now I see why you was this way or da 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 with me. Now I get it, and now I understand." So I mean, I think life is about, and love is also about forgiveness. So, my kids know I'm not, I tell them all the time, forgive me. I'm not
Absolutely.
the perfect mother, but I was doing the best that I could do within that time frame. And this, for me, this is what my best looked like. And it may not have met all your needs or all how you needed me to be. I'm sorry I couldn't show up for you like that. But I did, but know that the way I showed up was the best that I could do, and it was done with love. But what do
Yeah.
you need from me today as adults? As
Absolutely.
adult children, because you're still my children.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you need from me as adults?
Yeah.
How can we move forward, and how you know what I'm saying? How can we take this
How do we
relationship
balance?
along? Right. So I mean,
This
life
was
doesn't come
good.
life doesn't come with a book.
No, this was good, you guys.
It was.
Yeah, this was so good. Oh my God. I hope everyone, got a little bit of something to be able to take from this. I know I did. I don't have any kids, but I definitely, was able to listen to three mothers that I can also deal with other. Amen. Because although I'm 50, I'm still 05. But yes, this was so good. Kiana, Jeanette, we really thank you for coming on and giving us
Yes.
some of your time this evening. And I mean, we look forward to, again, talk about some more, give some more life coaching tactics to navigate through 2025. Maybe do a little check in 6 months, and see where everyone is and what else you can give us to take us on through quarter 3 and 4. So
Exactly.
we really appreciate.
Can you let the people know how they can locate you? Like, what's some of your social?
Hmm.
Absolutely. I am on Instagram. It is life.coach2u, and that is the number 2, LIFE dot COACH, the number 2, and the letter U. Feel free. You can definitely send me an email. Reach out if you're interested in services or anything like that. It is the life coach 2u at gmail.com.
And we will definitely make sure to put it at the bottom of the show.
You and thanks y'all so much for having me. This was lovely.
Thank you. And we want to thank you guys for joining us and tune in. And as Nima, Ali said, we will definitely put Miss Jeanette information at the end of the credits. And like she said, a life coach is needed. Listen, sometimes it takes a village. We can't do it on our own. So,
Absolutely.
That's why we got a safe space.
right, you have the information, reach out and utilize her. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jeanette.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.